So this video is going to let us take a look at a lot of the values, the actual numerical values that we are going to use for calculations and so forth in this unit. A lot of the constants, a lot of the variables that are involved. So there's no organizer for this, just some notes for you to take. So go ahead and pull out a piece of paper to jot some of this stuff down on. So I'm calling this examining energy changes. So this is the kind of nuts and bolts that we need. So once more, just to review, remember that temperature is the variable T. It is the average kinetic energy of the molecules. And as far as we're concerned, the units we're going to use for temperature can be either Celsius or Kelvin, because really what we need is not T, but we need delta T. We need the change in temperature, because the change in temperature is going to let us see how energy is moving from the system to the surroundings or vice versa. So since Celsius and Kelvin have the same magnitude of value, we can interchange those. So Celsius or Kelvin, doesn't matter which unit you use. And then energy, we talk a lot about energy. We've never given it a variable. So energy is given the variable Q. Sometimes you'll see it as an uppercase Q. Sometimes you'll see it as a lowercase q. But that's what energy is. Reminder, it is the total amount of energy. Q is the total amount of energy that's involved in the process. So the more stuff you have, the more molecules you have, the more total energy is going to be involved. So that's something to remember. Units for energy, typically we're going to use joules. J for joule, kJ for kilojoules. But calories you'll see once in a while. So I want you to note that if we're talking about a normal calorie, it's lowercase. If we're talking about a kilocalorie, it's a capital C, capital calories. And those are actually food calories. If you were to look at the ingredient list or the label on any sort of product, you would see that it's a capital C because that's food calories. That's actually kilocalories that they're talking about. So the relationship between these two, something that we're going to need as far as conversion factors go. 1 calorie is equal to 4.184 joules. And then if we get to food calories, you've got 1 big calorie is equal to a food calorie is equal to 1 kilocalorie. And so here's the equivalence. That's equal to 1,000 little calories, or 4,184 joules, or 4.184 kilojoules. So kilojoules, kilocalories, 1 to 4.184, calories to joules, 4.184. So same value, same number change, it's just 1,000 difference in value. All right, so the next thing we want to get to are these energy constants that I made reference to. So these are values that represent the amount of energy involved in a particular process per quantity of material. So we've got energy per mass or per mole or something like that. These energy constants are going to apply to all sorts of processes. It could be a physical process like melting. It could be a chemical process like combustion. So if we were to melt candle wax, that value has one, or that constant, that's one constant. If we are going to burn candle wax, that's a different constant that we're looking at with a different numerical value and a different set of units even. There are constants for every reaction, for every substance, and for every state change. So it's kind of crazy. How much energy does it take to increase the temperature of water? How much energy does it take to boil water? How much energy does it take to decompose water? So there's energy constants for all of those different things. Typically, like I alluded to before, units are going to be joules per gram or kilojoules per mole or some version of those two units combined. So the first energy constant we want to take a look at is specific heat. That's given the variable little c. Specific heat is the energy constant involved when you are changing the temperature of a material. So you're not doing a state change. All I'm doing, for example, is heating up water to make a cup of coffee. Something like that. Officially, the definition of specific heat is the amount of energy required to raise 1 gram of material 1 degree Celsius. So notice that you have 3 units in there. I've got energy, I've got mass, and I've got temperature change. So the units for specific heat are joules per gram per degree Celsius. And as I said before, there are different specific heats for every material, and there are even different specific heats for the state changes of the material, or for the different states of the material. So for example, liquid water has a specific heat of 4.184 joules per gram degree Celsius. Solid water has a specific heat of 2.11 joules per gram degree Celsius. So notice it takes more energy to raise the temperature of liquid water than it does to raise the temperature of solid water. That's what those numbers are telling you. Also notice something interesting. 4.184 is a number you heard before. 4.184 joules are equal to 1 calorie. So by definition, a calorie is the specific heat of water. So that's kind of cool. Specific heat of water is 1 calorie. It takes 1 calorie to raise the mass of 1 gram of water 1 degree Celsius. So that's kind of cool. All right, the other unit, or the other heat constant, is enthalpy, delta H. We've heard of enthalpy before. It's also referred to as heat of reaction or enthalpy of reaction because we're talking about how much energy is involved, what's the energy change in order to do some sort of process. And remember that this delta H is the amount of energy involved to actually alter the bonding or the IMFA structure of a material, or to perform a chemical reaction if we're changing bonds. So the units are kilojoules per mole or kilojoules per gram. Notice what's not here that was in specific heat, delta T, temperature. There is no temperature as part of the value of enthalpy. You saw examples of these with the 2 reactions that we did in the previous unit. So you know, barium hydroxide plus ammonium chloride, we saw it get nice and cold. So the delta H for that reaction is 164 kilojoules per mole of reaction. So that's going to be important for you to remember. That 164 is the number that goes into thermal equation. But when we start taking a look at the amount of energy involved per a certain substance, that 164 number is going to change. So keep that kind of in the back of your head, that it's kilojoules per mole of the entire reaction. And then thermite, when we did the aluminum plus the iron 3 oxide reaction, that gave off a whole lot of energy. Again, kilojoules per mole of reaction. I also want you to realize that the phrase heat of reaction is going to become really specific for the process that we are talking about. So for example, if we are going to burn something, we're going to calculate the heat of combustion because we're burning it. Heat of solution is what's going to be calculated when we dissolve something in water. Or if we melt something, it's the heat of fusion that's involved. So I want you to think about these two, or these 3 ideas. Heat of combustion, we're changing intramolecular bonds, covalent bonds. Heat of solution, we're also changing those intramolecular bonds. Heat of fusion, what are we doing? We're changing IMFAs. We're simply melting something. We're not rearranging the intramolecular bonds. So enthalpy can be used when you do a change of intramolecular or intermolecular bonds, but it's always involved in the different kinds of bonding schemes. All right, so that primes you for the next video that we will take a look at, which is the energy changes, or the energy is associated with physical changes of materials.